Alright, so I just got another package. This one is from Midtown Comics, right over there. You can see the address here, and it's a Marvel comp. I don't know what's inside. I'm gonna open this in front of you guys and see what it is. So let me get my little knife right over here. So now I'm just gonna cut this open, and then I'm gonna show it to you guys before I look at it myself, like this. And then here, cut over here, and then cut right over here. Okay, so let's see what this is. And if it's something that I worked on, I'm not gonna make this video, just gonna film this little bit. And if it's something new that I've never seen, I'll do a review of this here. So let's take a look. Remove this. Okay, it's a box with nothing over there. And then we have what's over here. We have Deadpool by Kelly Jones, the complete collection. Let me remove this part. Okay. And then there's a little package. So before, Marvel Comics, when they send out comics, they would send it directly from the printers. Now they use Midtown Comics right over here, and then they're the comic book store in New York, and then I guess they just pay them to ship stuff out. So here's a new volume that's out in stores now. It should be out in stores or about to be in stores while you're watching this video. And then I'm going to do a review of this. So let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Walden. I'm a comic book artist from Marvel and DC. You can check out more of my work on my website. It's waldenwongart.com. Over there, there's different tiers and things that you can look at. And also check out my Patreon page. My Patreon is patreon.com/WaldenWongArt. Over there, there's different tiers that you can look at. So without further ado, let's check out this Deadpool run with, Joe Kelly Complete Collection Volume 2. Alright, so here is the Deadpool book right over here. Okay, by Joe Kelly, the Complete Collection Volume 2. Let's take a look at the front cover. Here's the spine, for those of you who want to see the details on the spine right over here. Okay, I like that little Deadpool logo here. And here's the back of the book. Feel free to pause the video and read up on that if you like. And here's a barcode if you need to see the barcode right over here. And let's take a look at the insides right over here. Okay, the first page, some trade ads, the nice image here. And then here's the credits. Okay, let's take a look at all the editors. Here's the original publisher, editor for Deadpool, Matt Adelson. I remember working with him. And then the assistant editor, Paul Trishon. Yeah, I've also met them in person. Walter McDaniel, the front cover artist. He did this cover over here. Back cover artist, Bernard Chang, right over there. Bernard's a really great guy and a great artist. I've met him a few times. I have yet to work with Bernard, but hopefully one of these days I will get to work with Bernard. Here's the writers. Feel free to pause the video. We got the writers. James Felder, I also met him. Joe Kelly, Pete Woods, Walter McDaniel. Right here, Nathan Massingle, inkers, Walden Wong, that's me over here, and there's a few other inkers. Livesay, he's also a nice guy over there. Sean Parsons, colorists, here's some of the colorists, Chris Sotomayor, all these colors, and the letters, Richard Starking's Comic Craft, pretty much does a lot of lettering, computer lettering. And now let's take a look at the inside. So this is where it all started for Deadpool with me, this cover right here. Okay, I remember working on this cover. This is one image, and then these are little stat images on top. Okay, so let's take a look at the insides. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer so we can see all this in detail. Okay, right over here. Okay, and this is a pretty thick book, so I'm going to be going through this pretty quickly. Otherwise, this is going to be like a long 2-3 hour video. So those of you who are thinking about ordering a copy and you landed on this video, feel free to check out the links underneath my video description to my Amazon page. Anything you order, I get a little bit of a commission from there. Thank you very much in advance. So right here, this is the very first Deadpool page that I've inked over Pete Woods. Now let me tell you about Pete Woods and how I got to work on this project over here. One of the very first projects that I worked on was Shotgun Mary Shooting Gallery for Antarctic Press. And coincidentally, that was also Pete's first published book. Okay, it was just a coincidence that we started working together over at Antarctic Press. And then after we worked on those, I think it was like 8 pages of Shotgun Mary Shooting Gallery, we just parted ways. And then fast forward maybe about a year later, I was at the San Diego Comic-Con at the comic book portfolio line. Okay, actually, let me show you guys here. Okay, look, there's a little package, like a pack of chips inside the car, and in this, there's writing that we inked by hand. Pete penciled Wacky Wong, it's W-O-N-G, but the letter, Richard Starking, the letter, he covered that up. But behind that is W-O-N-G's. So Pete was stoked that I was working with him on this project. Anyway, back to San Diego Comic-Con. I was at the line for the Wildstorm portfolio review, and at the time, Pete was also doing some work for Wildstorm already. And when I was showing my pages to an editor, Pete was standing on the side, and I didn't really know that's Pete. Pete was Pete. I didn't really know how another artist would look like, but he was seeing my name on some of my sample pages. So after I finished showing my samples to the editor, Pete pulled me aside. He goes, Walden, can you come over here? I want to speak with you for a little bit. So he pulled me behind the portfolio, behind the booth, and said, Walden, my name is Pete, Pete Woods. I think you inked me on Shaq and Mary Shooting Gallery. And I said, oh yeah, that was me. It was nice to meet you, Pete. Nice to meet you in person. So after that, Pete said, I'm going to be moving over to Marvel, because he was with DC Comics. Actually, Wildstorm wasn't with DC. Wildstorm was part of Image Comics, but he was hired to do some work for Marvel Comics, and he asked me if I would be interested in going over. Here's this cover. I remember working on this cover. I still have the original art to this cover. I remember all these hands over here. Okay. This was drawn on 11 by 17. These little heads was drawn on a separate page, and they were placed together like that. So back to the story. Pete put me over and said he was going to move over to Marvel and going to be working on this book called Deadpool. And at the time, Deadpool isn't as popular as he is today. And at the time, he said, "Would you like to work with me on on a book called Deadpool?" I said, "Sure, it'll be nice." So we got in touch with each other, and Pete had me do a sample page over his some of the Deadpool stuff. So I did, and I also sent the editor some of my work that I've done on Shaq and Mirror Shooting Gallery, the project that we worked on with Antarctic Press. And the editor, Matt Adelson, he looked at it and he liked it. Okay, I spoke to Matt Adelson a lot over the phone, as well as Paul, the assistant editor. So we got to know each other pretty well, and we did a long run on Deadpool right over here. This is my inks over here. And when I started inking, majority of the stuff that I used were a crow quill. I didn't really use microns or brushes at the time. All I knew how to use was the crow quill. I also had a repeatograph tech pins to do like borders and stuff, or to rule out straight lines. So I was still fairly new to the industry when I worked on this book here, and it was a fun time. I even remember I even used some Sharpie to fill in the blacks, because I wasn't really that into using indie inks at the time. Like these, I remember these pages when I started working on them. I inked in all the snow bits first. After that, then I would go back there and ink in all the backgrounds. And some of the time, I would over ink some snow bits. I would just wipe them out. I remember these pages specifically because it was always snowing during that time. Okay, here's a blank page. This cover is by Walter McDaniel. This blank page here on a trade paperback or hardcover is necessary, because sometimes when you're reading a comic book that's published monthly, there would be an ad or some kind of advertisement over there, or like a back page or something. Those needs to be there in order to make the even numbers and odd numbers count precisely. Because every so often, working in comics, there may be a double page spread that needs to be spread, but if that marker page isn't there, it's going to throw everything off. So here's some of the other art that's in this book. Okay, this art, look at this. This one goes to the side like that. A really nice, fun touch. Lots of words. And I remember working with Pete pretty much for almost a year, maybe 2 years on Deadpool. Can't remember exactly how many issues, but a lot. I remember inking this. This is Walter McDaniel. So I was also helping out on inking some of Walter McDaniel's work as well. I remember doing the strap. So when I was doing Deadpool, editors got to know me and they would have me help out on some of the other pages at the same time. So fast forward 2 years later, after working with the whole art team on Deadpool, we got to know the editors, we got to know the writers. Pete, even the penciler, he even invited me to his wedding in Portland, Oregon. So I flew there. I'm from San Francisco. I flew over to Portland, Oregon and went to his wedding. Later on, when I got married, Pete also flew to my wedding in San Francisco. So that was nice to be at each other's wedding. It was maybe a few years apart, but it was nice to be at each other's wedding. And then fast forward again, I get sidetracked because there's so many stories that I can talk about working in comics. So fast forward 2 years when I was working on Deadpool, the whole art team, the writers, the penciler, the inker, myself, as well as the letterer, all of us were in San Diego Comic-Con, and we were scheduled to have a signing at the Marvel booth with Stan Lee. So it would have been Stan Lee, and then the writers, Joe Kelly, right over here, Joe Kelly, as well as James Felder. Okay, Pete Woods was going to be there, and I was going to be there signing along with Stan Lee. I remember I was pretty excited because I was thinking, wow, I not only am I excited to be doing a signing at a Marvel booth, but I would have been signing with Stan the Man Lee at the Marvel booth. So I was pretty excited, and then the whole art team was in San Diego, and we were just talking, and then I don't know whose bright idea it was, but someone from the art team, it wasn't me, they said, hey, let's all go to the San Diego Zoo. And I was thinking, San Diego Zoo? But I kind of want to sign with Stan Lee. It's not every day I get to sign with Stan Lee. And then the two editors, even another editor, they were there. They said, Stan Lee, he's going to be at every convention. I see him all the time at the Marvel Comics office. So it's no big deal. We'll just do it another time. But it's not every time us editors are going to be in San Diego because, most of the editors and the Marvel staff, they come from the New York over there. So they got to San Diego Comic-Con and asked all of us to go to San Diego Zoo. So everyone was gonna go, and I thought, oh man, I want to sign with Stan Lee and chat with him. But for the art team, I figured, okay, since all the writers, all the editors, and the inkers and pencilers and letterer were gonna go to the San Diego Zoo, I'm just gonna tag along. So I tagged along, and we looked at birds, we looked at animals, and we looked at elephants and things like that. Now, keep in mind, I live in San Francisco, and just less than a few miles from me is the San Francisco Zoo. So I've seen a lot of animals in my time. Okay, so we looked at it. We looked at animals in the San Diego Zoo, but it was still fun. I get to hang out with the whole art team, and I did see some animals that I haven't seen in the San Francisco Zoo, and so that was kind of fun. And we talked, and then we got to know each other a little bit more, and we started doing more work together. But I still regret not being in the same signing with Stan Lee. Later on, I got to meet Stan Lee, and I got to talk to him a few more times. But it's different than sitting behind a booth for half an hour or an hour to sign books together like that. I've done other signings at the Marvel booth. I've done other signings at the DC Comic book. Here's Bernard Chang. Like Bernard, he's a really good artist. Bernard also did the back. Oh, here, this image is the back cover right over here. Yeah. So those of you who don't know Bernard, check out his work. He's a really good artist. He likes drawing basketball stuff. He's a huge basketball fan and a really great artist. Check out his Instagram page, Bernard Chang. So we're going to take a look at this. So these are some of the other artists. Again, those of you who are on the fence of buying this, feel free to look at my video and then see how you like this. Okay, this is kind of like a preview. So if you're buying it, this is what you're going to be getting. Okay, and again, links are below my video description. So if you want to order a copy, feel free to use my links. Under my video description, there's also links to art supplies and other graphic novels that I worked on. So check those out. Again, anything you order, I get a little bit of commission that helps support this channel. Okay, this letter A here kind of reminds me of Animal Man from DC Comics, but he's a different version. So this is another art team. I've never seen these images before. It's my first time. A lot of times when I'm working for Marvel and I get comp boxes back, comp boxes is copies of my own work. It's funny, like in the beginning, Marvel Comics would send me like one trade paperback and then three or five of the same comic book. DC Comics, they would send me like 20 copies, and then when there's a trade, they'll send me like 3 trades or maybe 4 trades. But I'm lucky to be able to get anything from a publisher these days, and I don't really keep track of the stuff I've done if they send me stuff. Here is Walter McDaniel's work. Walter is also another very good artist. He's not really doing that much comics. I think he moved to Hong Kong. I believe it's Hong Kong, and he's doing some movie production company. I spoke to him maybe a few weeks ago online, and then he was telling me that he's doing a Monkey King movie, animated Monkey King, and he's going to be funding it himself, and hopefully that does well. But hopefully one of these days, I keep telling Walter that he should come back to comics because I would love to work with him again. And here's more of Walter's work right over here. We also worked on some Wolverine. I think we worked on I think it's Deadpool 99 or Wolverine 99 comic together. Okay, here's Walter's work. Oh, very, very cool stuff. Walter, Sean Parsons also inked this. Another blank page just to keep things in order, to keep the even numbers and odd numbers in order right over here. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, again, this was before Deadpool was mega popular and a huge success as is now. So my first run was on this, and then later on, fast forward maybe 10 years later or something like that, I also got to work with Carlo Barberi on Deadpool. So I had a long run on Deadpool there. And then right here, I remember this cover. So that means I did the interiors here. So right here, P. Woods and W. Wong, penciler, inker, team Justice, Order, and Luck, or Skinless Jeweler's Day Off. Okay, yeah, it was such a nice collaboration working with Pete, because he would just let me, I would ask him, how would you like me to ink your stuff? Just ink it however you like, have fun with it. And this is the guy in Fantasy Island. I so remember this page. I so remember these pages. Okay, this guy right over here. It's like, what is the guy from Fantasy Island? Fantasy Island is this TV show. When I used to be a little young kid, and I would watch it, and that's a Fantasy Island guy over there. Okay, right over here, and here's more. Yeah, Pete's style from then looks different than how it is over here. Okay, these are stat pages. I remember Pete would draw like maybe an image here, and then on the next 2 boxes, it's just an empty box, and he would draw like another image of Deadpool, and then on that image he would say, that Pete would draw a little sketch that says, give me a stat, make it look just like that. And then to me, I kept seeing that, and he would draw like a little Deadpool pointing at the top panel or pointing at the right panel to make that a stat. And I keep seeing that, and it kind of became a song. Give me a stat, make it look just like that. I remember inking these raggedy cloth over here, and I remember this one because of the buildings in the background. At the time, I thought this is a lot of work, and it is a lot of work, but the more I've gone and working the comics, right now it's pretty easy. Okay. Yeah, so something that looks like is a lot of work, after a while of working and drawing, it does get easier. So I remember this page. This is like a page that was worked on, and then they used that for the letters page. That was fun. Okay, right over here, I remember this character. Okay, I remember working on that. I remember this. I remember working on that. I still have another blank page right over here. Wizard number 0. I don't think I ever seen the original art for the art team that worked on this, so I've never seen this copy. So it's my first time looking at this. Hopefully it's also the first time for you guys watching this. Now, if you enjoy this video, please like and share with your friends, and comment down below. Every time someone makes a comment and I get notification, I usually try my best to, oh, this is like a new couple over here. I always try my best to respond to everyone, unless the notification doesn't get sent to me and I don't know about it. Majority of the time, I would always respond to everyone underneath my YouTube channel, everyone that comments. Baby's first Deadpool. From the series that we worked on, we jumped off and we did this one shot. Pete Woods and I, we also worked on this. This was more kind of like a children's book. So let's take, oh yeah, right over here. They took images. Did they print some of the insides of the... Yes, they did. Oh, very, very cool. This is exciting. Here's some of the artwork on the front. Okay, here's some of the pencils. Okay, these weren't inked, just to give you that pencil look. Okay, right over here. Look at that. It's like a storybook. Okay, storybook of Pete Woods here. And then later on, we took over. We started inking it, and there were little pages. Everything were more animated. The artwork was exactly like that. It's 11 by 17, the original art. And then we inked this border. This was done by hand. Okay, and then there'll be a little image of the airplane, little captain, little like chairs and all these animals here, and everything was animated. I remember working on that. That was lots of fun. The Deadpool team. So it would be an art and then a blank spot, an empty spot, art, empty spot, just like this. So the writers, I'm sure they had a good time writing. I think James Felder wrote this. There would be Deadpool coming out, the regular series, and then every so often there would be like a one shot. Right here. We also worked on Widow Wade together, Pete Woods and I. So on top of this Kitty's Deadpool, we also worked on Widow Wade. Here's some of the background stuff. I remember working on this. This is very fun. Right over here, Deadpool is so animated. Okay, and then here's some of the other stuff. I didn't work on this one, these black and white stuff. Although, looking now, if I had the opportunity to do some black and white artwork like this, I would. This guy looks kind of like Hellboy over here. Right over here. Comment down below if you think this looks like Hellboy. Okay. Now, let's see. Pull by numbers so you can color. You can color this one here. So this one looks like it's pretty fun. I don't know if anyone's actually going to be coloring this. So if you are, color it. Post your link below so I can see the colors. Bob Harris, the editor-in-chief at the time. Bob Harris is the person who gave me my first work. I met him at WonderCon in San Francisco, and then he was someone that Paul Smith introduced me to. The Encyclopedia Deadpoolica introduction. Here's some more. So here it talks about the very first 4 issues of Deadpool. Deadpool was introduced in X-Force, and later on he got his own spin-off series, a 4-issue limited series. And then he got so popular that Ed McGuinness also started drawing Deadpool on the earlier issues, like right here. Here's Deadpool, the first issue of Deadpool. Here's Ed McGuinness, inked by Nathan Bassingill. And Ed McGuinness, he's a really nice artist as well. I also got to work with him when he was working on Superman back then. Also, later on when we moved over to Marvel, I also worked with him on Spider-Man vs. Deadpool. Very nice guy. Wish I get to do more work with him. I like his art style really much. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff over here, a lot of words. Another blank, I don't know why they need a blank page here, but there's not a lot of double page spreads. Okay, here's the episode 12. And it looks like they're giving a recap of each episode. This is where I took on, right up here. I remember this cover. Here's some of the reviews. Here's look at, this is kind of nice. It's almost like a real encyclopedia. Issue 14, issue 15. 16, 17, some of what's happening on the inside, behind the scenes, right over here. They should have included Deadpool and Widow Wade. It's one shot. That's a pretty popular title that a lot of people are into reading these days and collecting. Right over here. Yeah, they could have totally skipped out these pages. Instead of just following the numbers, they could just glossary of pop culture references. Yo, okay, the circle. So yeah, Joe Kelly had his own vocabulary while working on this. Really, these, if the editor of the trade paperback were focused, they could have just not followed the page numbers and then remove these pages and kind of save on printing. Here's Deadpool, a wizard. Here's another wizard, like Deadpool's reading a book of himself, reading a book of himself. So this is like breaking into the third wall kind of thing. This image here was also used for a Ultimate Deadpool book, hardcover. I never got that. Some of my work is in there, so take a look at that. This is Ed McGuinness's work right over here. And here's Ed McGuinness little Deadpool over here. Well, I think this one's a image by Walter McDaniel. And here's some sketchbook, behind the scenes sketch art right over here. So take a look at that. Here's how a sketch starts. Here's how the image is completed. You can also check out some of my older videos if you're interested in seeing how comic books are made. There's a few videos where I demonstrate how to work from a sketch idea to a penciling idea, and then all the way to inking it and then coloring it. A lot of little glossary extra stuff over here, so that's like a nice bonus. The publishers didn't really need to include it, but you know, adding it there just makes it nice. This is nice. Okay, so again, these two images right over here were drawn on two separate artboards. This is one image that just shrank down, and then on another artboard it was just these heads. So I have the original art, which is just one 11x17 board that only has those heads and nothing else. Okay, and then we're gonna take a look. We're almost coming to the last few pages of this book right over here. Here's that little kitty's book, and the last page. Let's take a look at the last black and white page. Deadpool Omnibus hardcover by Ed McGuinness. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, I'm not sure who inked it. I think maybe Ed McGuinness inked it right here. Looks like he just signed his own name. And then collected editions right over here. Chris Bacalo. Ooh, this is kind of nice. I didn't know they had a King Deadpool volume. I gotta check this out. I like Chris Bacalo's work. And then the back cover. And there you have it. That is the whole trade paperback. Again, if you're interested in one of these, links below the video description so you can buy your own. And then here's the cover. So there you have it. That is the Deadpool complete collection. If you're interested in buying one of these on your own, I added links below this video description so you can get one of your own there. Anything you order, I get a little bit of a commission, so thank you so much for that. Again, check out my website. It's waldenwongart.com. A lot of things that you can look at there. There's also a little shop as well as the news where you can see me post this as well as a video. And also check out my Patreon. If you enjoy these videos, please think about supporting me over there. My Patreon is patreon.com/waldenwongart. Lots of things that you can look at over there. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed this video of Deadpool. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And talk to you next time.